My friends, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Many people dream of speaking English fluently, but most give up because they think it's too hard, too late, or too impossible. But let me ask you, why do you believe that? Who told you that you are not capable of learning a language that millions of others have mastered? The truth is, you can do it. Not in years, not in decades. If you decide with full commitment, you can transform your English within just 30 days. Imagine yourself after 1 month. You walk into a room and people are speaking in English. Earlier, you might have felt nervous, silent, or shy, but now your heart doesn't race with fear, it races with excitement. You don't hide in the corner, you speak, you smile, you express yourself. That version of you is real. It exists in your future, but only if you start today. The first step is not grammar, not big words, not heavy books. The first step is courage. You must give yourself permission to make mistakes. Every time you speak broken English, you are not failing. You are growing. Children learn their first language by speaking wrong sentences every single day. They don't feel shame, they just keep going. Why should you, an adult, stop yourself? If you don't open your mouth, how will your tongue ever learn the rhythm of English? For 30 days, make a promise to yourself. Every single day, you will speak English, no matter what. Speak to yourself in the mirror. Describe what you're doing while cooking, walking, or working. Speak with friends, even if they laugh at your mistakes. Remember, people who laugh at you today will clap for you tomorrow. Listen to English daily. Songs, movies, podcasts, speeches. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Let the words enter your ears. Let your brain absorb the rhythm. Slowly, you will notice that the same sentences start to flow out of your mouth without effort. Think of it like planting a seed. You water it daily with listening and speaking, and in 30 days, you will see the plant growing. Reading is another powerful tool. Pick up simple English articles or stories. Read them aloud, not silently. When you read aloud, you train your tongue, your voice, your pronunciation. You are not only feeding your mind with words, you are training your speaking muscles. Yes, 30 days is short, but short time with full focus can achieve more than years of half-hearted effort. Most people say they want to learn English but never practice consistently. That's why they stay stuck. But if you commit, if you give 30 days of passion, 30 days of courage, 30 days of practice, you will surprise yourself. And remember, English is not just a language, it's a key that opens doors to opportunities, to confidence, to dreams you never thought possible. Imagine giving an interview and expressing yourself clearly. Imagine making international friends and sharing your ideas. Imagine standing on a stage, speaking, and the audience listening with respect. That future is waiting for you, but it all depends on what you do in these 30 days. So I ask you, are you ready to challenge yourself? Are you ready to step out of fear and into confidence? If yes, then today is the day. Speak, listen, read, repeat. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. And after 30 days, look at yourself in the mirror. You will not see the same person. You will see someone transformed. Believe in yourself, because you can do this. Not someday, not later, not tomorrow. Start now. Your journey to fluency begins today. Courage over perfection. This is the very first thing you must understand if you truly want to speak English fluently in 30 days. Most people think the secret is hidden in grammar books, vocabulary lists, or advanced lessons, but in reality, the biggest wall that stops you is not lack of knowledge, it is fear. Fear of being judged, fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding funny, and because of this fear, people stay silent. They wait until they feel ready, but let me tell you, no one ever feels completely ready. If you wait for perfection before opening your mouth, you will wait your entire life. The people you admire, the ones who speak English fluently, did not reach that level because they were perfect from the beginning. They reached it because they were brave enough to sound imperfect at first. Think of a child who learns to speak their first language. That child makes mistakes every single day. They mix words, they mispronounce, they create sentences that don't even exist. And yet nobody tells them to stop. In fact, everyone claps and encourages them because they know that mistakes are part of growth. But when we grow older, suddenly society tells us to be perfect, to avoid mistakes, to stay quiet if we are not confident. This is where the problem begins. You must return to the courage of a child. You must accept that broken English is better than no English. Every wrong sentence you speak is actually a right step towards fluency. Courage means opening your mouth even when you are unsure of the right words. It means saying what you can instead of staying silent because of what you can't. Imagine you are in a situation where people are speaking English. The old version of you might stay quiet, nodding, pretending to understand, waiting for the moment to pass. But if you choose courage, you will say something, even if it's just a few words. And do you know what will happen? The world will not end. People may correct you, but that correction will help you. They may listen patiently, and you will feel stronger for having spoken up. Every small act of courage builds your fluency like bricks building a strong wall. Perfection is like a trap. The more you chase it, the further it runs away. If you aim to speak perfect English before you actually speak, you will never start. But if you allow yourself to be imperfect, you will start right away, and little by little, your mistakes will reduce. In 30 days, the courage you show will give you more progress than years of silence waiting for perfection. Remember, courage is the key that unlocks progress, while perfection is the lock that keeps you stuck. When you speak with courage, you are also training your brain to think differently. Fear tells your brain, "What if I fail? What if I sound stupid?" Courage tells your brain, "So what? I will still try." And every time you try, you reprogram your mind to focus on growth rather than embarrassment. Many learners think the audience is waiting to laugh at them, but in reality, most people respect those who try. They see your effort, and often they admire it, because it takes bravery to speak in a language that is not your own. Let me share something important. Fluency is not about knowing every grammar rule. It's about expressing yourself without hesitation, and hesitation comes from fear. That's why courage is more important than perfection. A person with little vocabulary but full courage will always sound more fluent than a person with thousands of words but no confidence to use them. You might know everything in your head, but if you don't have the courage to let it out, it is useless. On the other hand, even if you only know a few words but use them bravely, you will still communicate and grow. For the next 30 days, I want you to set one small challenge daily. Do one thing in English that scares you a little. Maybe it's speaking to a stranger, maybe it's recording your own voice, maybe it's joining a group discussion. The goal is not to be perfect, the goal is to be brave. Every single time you face that fear, you weaken it. Day by day, courage becomes your habit, and fluency becomes your natural reward. Courage also makes learning fun. Instead of being worried about mistakes, you start enjoying them. Imagine mispronouncing a word and laughing about it, but at the same time, remembering the correct version because of that moment. That's how real learning sticks. The memory of your courage will stay with you far longer than the memory of a perfect grammar rule. So, do not make courage optional. Make it your foundation. Promise yourself that for the next 30 days, you will not stay silent because of fear. You will not wait until you feel ready. You will speak, you will stumble, you will rise, and you will continue. That is how you will achieve fluency, not by chasing perfection, but by embracing courage. Daily practice is non-negotiable. This is the engine that drives your journey to speaking English fluently in 30 days. No matter how motivated you feel today, no matter how much knowledge you already carry, if you do not practice every single day, you will not reach the fluency you desire. Think of learning English like exercising a muscle. If you go to the gym once a week, your body will not change. If you train every day with focus, even for a short time, you will see results quickly. The same rule applies here. Your tongue, your brain, your confidence, they are all muscles. The more you use them, the stronger they become. And if you leave them unused, they weaken and fear grows stronger. The reason most people fail is not because they cannot learn, but because they cannot stay consistent. They practice for 2 days, then skip 3. They listen to English for 1 week, then stop for a month. That kind of practice will never give you fluency, but if you show up every day for 30 days, even in small steps, the results will surprise you. Daily practice is like building a bridge. Each day adds another brick, another piece of strength. If you stop in the middle, the bridge remains incomplete. If you keep going without missing, you cross over to fluency. Now, you might ask, what does daily practice look like? It doesn't mean sitting for 5 hours buried in books. It means finding opportunities every single day to use English actively. Speak, listen, read, write. Even if it is only for 30 minutes, do it with full focus. When you wake up, describe your morning routine in English. When you cook, speak the recipe aloud in English. When you travel, look at signboards and translate them into English in your mind. These small daily actions create a rhythm that keeps English alive in your thoughts. And when English lives in your daily routine, fluency becomes natural instead of forced. Daily practice also means making English a part of your lifestyle rather than a subject. Stop treating it as homework and start treating it as a living tool. Change the language settings of your phone to English. Write your to-do list in English. Speak short sentences with your family or friends, even if it feels strange at first. Watch one short video every day and repeat what you hear. All these little habits, when done daily, build momentum. Momentum is powerful. It turns effort into progress and progress into confidence. But here's something important. The hardest part of daily practice is not the practice itself. It is fighting the excuses. You will tell yourself, I am tired today, or I will do double tomorrow, or just one day off won't matter. But it does matter. Every time you skip, you break your rhythm. Think of a musician learning an instrument. If they practice every day, their fingers move smoothly. The sound becomes beautiful. If they skip often, their fingers forget, and they start again from zero. The same happens with English. Your mouth, your brain, your confidence. They need daily repetition to stay sharp. Some people believe they need hours of practice every day to improve, and when they cannot find that time, they quit. But the truth is, even 20-30 minutes of daily focused practice is more powerful than hours once in a while. Imagine watering a plant. If you pour a bucket of water once a week, the plant may drown or dry in between. But if you give it just a little water every day, it grows strong and steady. Your English is that plant. Nourish it daily, and it will grow naturally. There will be days when you don't feel like practicing. Days when you're busy, tired, or discouraged. But those are the days that matter most. When you practice even on your worst days, you train your mind to be disciplined. Discipline is the difference between wishing for fluency and actually achieving it. Motivation can start you, but discipline will keep you going. Daily practice builds that discipline, and discipline builds results. Another powerful thing about daily practice is how quickly it compounds. In the beginning, you may not notice much change. The first few days, your sentences may still be broken. Your confidence may still shake. But suddenly, after 2 or 3 weeks, you will realize you are speaking more smoothly. Words will come to your mind faster. Sentences will flow without as much hesitation. This is the magic of daily practice. It feels invisible at first, but then it hits you like a wave. That moment of realization will give you even more motivation to keep going. So for these 30 days, treat daily practice like brushing your teeth. You don't skip brushing because you are tired. You don't say, I will brush double tomorrow. You simply do it because it is part of life. In the same way, make English a non-negotiable part of your day. Speak it, listen to it, read it, think in it every single day without fail. If you can commit to this, then after 30 days, you will not just feel improvement. You will see it in your confidence, in your fluency, in the way others respond to you. The daily effort may feel small, but when it accumulates, it becomes transformation. And that transformation will prove that fluency is not about talent, not about luck, but about consistent daily practice. Speak aloud everywhere. This is one of the most powerful habits you can develop if you want to speak English fluently in 30 days. Many learners spend years studying English silently. They read books, they memorize vocabulary, they practice grammar exercises. But when it comes time to speak, their tongue refuses to cooperate. Why does this happen? Because speaking is a physical activity, not just a mental one. Your mouth, your tongue, your voice, all of these need training, and the only way to train them is by speaking aloud. If you want your words to flow naturally, you must practice using your voice every single day, in every possible situation. Speaking aloud does not mean waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect partner. It means creating opportunities for yourself, no matter where you are. If you are alone in your room, stand in front of the mirror and speak to yourself. Describe your day, your feelings, your dreams, even your mistakes. When you cook, say the recipe aloud in English. When you clean, talk about what you are doing. When you walk down the street, describe what you see. This may sound simple, even silly, but this is how your brain connects English to your real life. The more you practice aloud, the more natural it becomes. The problem is, many people only practice English in their heads. They think silently in English, but they never say the words out loud. The mind understands, but the tongue remains untrained. Imagine reading about swimming in a book but never jumping into water. You might understand the techniques, but the moment you are in the pool, your body freezes. The same happens with English. Thinking silently is like reading about swimming, but speaking aloud is like diving in. If you want to swim fluently in English, you must get your tongue wet every day. When you speak aloud everywhere, you also start to build confidence. At first, your own voice might sound strange to you. You may hesitate, you may stumble, you may feel awkward, but slowly you will notice improvement. The sentences that once took effort will start flowing more smoothly. Your pronunciation will improve because you are hearing yourself daily. Your confidence will grow because you are no longer afraid of using your voice. And when the time comes to speak to others, it won't feel like a new challenge. It will feel like something you already practice daily. Do not underestimate the power of self-talk. Talking to yourself in English might seem unusual, but it is one of the fastest ways to train fluency. The best part is, you don't need anyone else to practice with. You can do it anytime, anywhere. And remember, the more you speak aloud, the less afraid you will be of speaking in public. Your voice becomes familiar, your tongue becomes flexible, and your brain becomes quicker at finding words. Another powerful method is shadowing. When you listen to an English speaker, maybe in a movie, a podcast, or a speech, repeat their words aloud as closely as you can. Don't just listen passively, speak with them. This exercise forces your tongue to copy natural pronunciation, rhythm, and tone. It is like singing along to your favorite song, but with real sentences you can use in daily life. After doing this daily, you will notice your own speaking style sounding more natural. Now, some people might feel shy about speaking aloud, especially if others are around. But remember, courage grows with practice. If you are too shy to speak to strangers, start with yourself. If you are too shy to speak to family, start with the mirror. But slowly, push yourself to speak aloud in real situations. Ask for directions in English, order food in English, or greet someone in English. Even a simple, "Hello, how are you?" spoken aloud to another person is progress. These small, real-life practices, repeated daily, build unstoppable confidence. The reason this habit is so important is because fluency is not just about knowing the words, it's about being able to use them quickly without overthinking. And the best way to reach that stage is by speaking aloud as often as possible. You don't wait for fluency to come before speaking. You speak until fluency comes. Think of your mouth like an instrument. A guitar player cannot play a smooth melody without practicing the same notes hundreds of times aloud. In the same way, you cannot expect your mouth to deliver smooth English if you never practice saying the words aloud. Silent learning will only take you halfway. Speaking aloud everywhere takes you to the finish line. So for the next 30 days, make it a rule. Do not let a single day pass without using your voice in English. Read aloud, shadow aloud, describe aloud, think aloud, speak in front of the mirror, speak while walking, speak while resting, speak when no one is listening, and speak even when people are listening. The more you use your voice, the stronger it becomes. And remember this, your fluency will not come from silence, it will come from sound. Every word you speak aloud is a brick in the house of your confidence. Speak everywhere, speak every day, and soon, speaking English will not feel like an effort. It will feel like a part of who you are. Immerse yourself in English. This is the secret that transforms learning from a boring task into a natural process. Fluency is not built by studying English for a few minutes here and there, and then switching back to your native language for the rest of the day. Fluency is built when English surrounds you, when it becomes part of your environment, when you live inside it instead of visiting it once in a while. If you want to speak English fluently in 30 days, you need to create an atmosphere where English is everywhere you look, everywhere you hear, and everywhere you think. This is what immersion truly means. Imagine how children learn their first language. They are not given grammar books or vocabulary lists. They don't sit in classrooms repeating rules. They learn because they are surrounded by the language from morning to night. They hear it in conversations, they see it in daily life, they absorb it without realizing it. Their brain naturally connects words with actions, feelings, and ideas. That is why children become fluent without ever studying formally. And you can do the same for English no matter your age. You can recreate this immersive environment for yourself. One of the best ways to immerse yourself is through listening. Fill your ears with English every single day. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, follow English shows, speeches, or songs. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Just like a baby doesn't understand every word but still learns, your brain will slowly start to recognize sounds, patterns, and common words. Over time, sentences that once felt strange will begin to feel natural. Listening daily is like training your ears to become comfortable with the flow of English. But immersion does not stop at listening. You need to connect what you hear to your daily life. If you watch a short video, repeat some sentences aloud. If you hear a new phrase, try using it in your own conversation. If you like a line from a movie, practice saying it until it feels natural. This way, you are not just hearing English passively, you are actively absorbing and using it. Passive listening is good, but active engagement is what turns knowledge into fluency. Surrounding yourself with English also means changing small details in your daily environment. Switch the language settings on your phone to English. Read headlines, captions, or advertisements in English. Follow social media accounts that post in English. Write your notes, reminders, or even your grocery list in English. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but soon your brain will adapt and begin to think in English automatically. That shift in thinking is the true sign of immersion working. Another powerful form of immersion is reading. When you read in English every day, you expose yourself to new vocabulary, sentence structures, and ideas. But here's the key. Don't just read silently. Read aloud whenever possible. Reading aloud combines immersion with speaking practice, and it helps you remember words more deeply. Start with simple materials like short articles, blogs, or even stories. As you get comfortable, move to more challenging texts. The goal is not to understand every word, but to stay connected with the language daily. Immersion also means creating opportunities to use English socially. If you have friends or colleagues who speak English, try having conversations with them, even if only for a few minutes a day. Join online groups or forums where discussions happen in English. Participate, ask questions, share your thoughts. It doesn't matter if your sentences are not perfect. What matters is that you are putting yourself in real situations where English is necessary. This real-world practice forces your brain to respond quickly, which is one of the fastest ways to build fluency. Sometimes you might think, but I don't live in an English-speaking country. How can I immerse myself fully? The truth is, you don't need to live abroad to surround yourself with English. Technology has already brought the world to your hands. Your phone can become your English-speaking world if you choose the right content. Your room can become an English learning zone if you surround it with English books, notes, or even sticky labels on objects with their English names. Immersion is about creativity, not location. If you decide, you can build an English environment anywhere. The beauty of immersion is that it reduces effort over time. At the start, you may struggle to understand movies or articles. You may pause and rewind often, but after days of continuous exposure, your brain starts picking up meaning without translation. Words that once felt strange will suddenly become familiar. Sentences that once confused you will start making sense automatically. That's when you realize immersion is working. It makes English feel less like a subject and more like a natural part of your daily life. Immersion also keeps your motivation alive. When you surround yourself with English that inspires you, songs you love, shows you enjoy, books that excite you, you stop feeling like you are studying. You feel like you are living in English. This enjoyment removes the boredom that kills consistency. You no longer see English as a burden, but as a friend that entertains, informs, and connects you with the world. That emotional connection is what keeps you going for 30 days and beyond. So if you are serious about becoming fluent, don't just practice English for 1 hour a day and then forget it. Make it a constant presence. Let it be the background music of your day, the language of your thoughts, the voice in your head. The more you immerse, the faster your brain adapts. And when your brain adapts, fluency stops being a dream and becomes your reality. Reading out loud is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools you can use to train yourself to speak English fluently in just 30 days. Many people underestimate this practice because they think reading is only for improving vocabulary or comprehension. But when you read aloud, you are doing far more than just recognizing words on a page. You are training your tongue, your voice, and your confidence at the same time. Silent reading feeds your mind, but reading aloud feeds both your mind and your speaking ability. This is why it is so important to make reading aloud a daily habit if you want to sound fluent and natural in English. When you read aloud, you are forcing your mouth to practice the movements of English. Every language has its own rhythm, its own flow, its own sound patterns. If you only keep English inside your head, your mouth does not get the training it needs. But when you pronounce every word out loud, your lips, your tongue, and your vocal cords get used to forming English sounds. Over time, these sounds stop feeling foreign, and your mouth begins to move naturally in English, just like it does in your own language. This is why actors rehearse their lines by saying them aloud, not just memorizing silently, because the real skill comes from performance, not theory. Reading aloud also helps improve your pronunciation. When you hear yourself say the words, you can compare your voice to the way native speakers pronounce them in movies, audiobooks, or podcasts. You notice where you struggle, where you hesitate, where your tongue feels stuck, and with practice, you correct it. Sometimes you may realize you have been mispronouncing a word for years, but once you hear it out loud, you finally fix it. This self-awareness is only possible when you give your voice the chance to speak. Another benefit of reading aloud is rhythm and fluency. Fluency is not just about knowing words, it's about connecting them smoothly without long pauses. When you read a paragraph aloud, you train yourself to link words together, to flow from one sentence to another. At first, you might stumble, stop, or restart often. But if you keep reading aloud daily, you will notice your speed increasing, your pauses reducing, and your voice sounding more confident. This practice builds muscle memory, the same way musicians build smoothness by repeating scales, or athletes build strength by repeating exercises. Reading aloud also strengthens memory. When you see a word, say it aloud, and hear yourself pronounce it, you are using 3 senses at once: sight, sound, and speech. This triple connection makes the word stick in your mind far more effectively than silent reading. Imagine you are learning a new phrase like step out of your comfort zone. If you only read it silently, you may forget it tomorrow. But if you read it aloud several times, your tongue remembers the movement, your ears remember the sound, and your brain remembers the meaning. The next time you want to use that phrase in conversation, it will come out much faster. Another powerful way to use this method is by reading dialogues aloud. Find short conversations from books, plays, or even subtitles, and act them out as if you are performing. Give life to the words, use expressions, tone, and emotion. This not only improves your fluency, but also makes your English sound natural and alive. If you practice reading dialogues with energy, you will be better prepared for real conversations because you have already rehearsed the rhythm of interaction. You don't need complicated books to start. In fact, it's better to begin with simple materials like children's stories, short news articles, or motivational blogs. The goal is not to show how advanced you are, but to practice your speaking flow. As you get comfortable, you can challenge yourself with more complex texts, but always keep the habit of reading them aloud. Even 5 to 10 minutes of reading aloud daily can transform your fluency over time. Reading aloud also reduces hesitation. Many learners feel nervous when speaking spontaneously because they are not used to hearing their own English voice. But if you spend time every day reading aloud, you become comfortable with your own sound. You no longer feel shocked or shy when you hear yourself speaking English. Instead, it feels familiar, even natural. This familiarity destroys hesitation and gives you the courage to speak in real situations. Another hidden benefit of this practice is confidence in public speaking. The more you read aloud, the more control you develop over your voice, your volume, your tone, your speed. This makes you sound clearer and more convincing when you talk to others. It prepares you not only for casual conversations, but also for presentations, interviews, or speeches. Reading aloud is like rehearsal for the real stage of life where you will need to use English confidently. To make this practice even more powerful, record yourself while reading aloud. At first, you may not like your voice, you may notice mistakes, you may even feel embarrassed. But when you listen to the recording, you gain valuable feedback. You hear where you pause too long, where you mispronounce, or where your voice lacks energy, then you can work on those areas and improve. Over time, you will notice your recordings getting better and better. This progress will give you motivation to continue. So, make a daily rule for yourself. At least 10 minutes of reading aloud, no matter how busy your day is. It could be an article in the morning, a story at night, or even social media posts during the day. Don't just let the words stay on the page. Give them life through your voice. Every page you read aloud is another step toward fluency. Remember, reading silently builds knowledge, but reading aloud builds fluency, and fluency is what you need most if you want to speak confidently in English. The more you train your tongue and voice through this simple practice, the more natural, smooth, and fearless your English will become. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools you can use to transform your English learning journey, and yet many people overlook it. They focus only on practice, grammar, vocabulary, and exercises, but they forget the power of the mind. Before anything happens in reality, it first happens in your imagination. Every invention, every success story, every great achievement in history began as a vision in someone's mind. If you want to speak English fluently in 30 days, you must first see yourself as someone who already speaks English fluently. You must visualize the confident version of yourself who talks without fear, who communicates clearly, who connects with people effortlessly. That vision will give you the motivation, energy, and belief to keep going when things get tough. Think about it. When you imagine yourself speaking English fluently, what do you see? Maybe you are standing in front of a group of people, giving a presentation with confidence. Maybe you are traveling abroad, talking to strangers with ease. Maybe you are in an interview, answering questions smoothly. Or maybe you are simply chatting with friends, laughing and expressing yourself freely. Whatever your dream scenario is, close your eyes and picture it as if it is happening right now. Feel the emotions of that moment, the pride, the joy, the freedom. This emotional connection is the fuel that pushes you forward when practice feels difficult. Visualization is not just daydreaming, it is mental training. Athletes use it before competitions. They imagine themselves running faster, jumping higher, winning medals. Speakers use it before presentations. They see themselves speaking clearly, holding the audience's attention. You can use the same technique for English. Every day, take a few minutes to imagine yourself speaking confidently in English. Hear your own voice in your mind. Imagine the reactions of people around you, and believe that this is your future self. When your mind believes it, your actions begin to align with that vision. The power of visualization also lies in creating clarity. If you do not know what your goal looks like, how will you work towards it? Many learners say, I want to be fluent, but they don't define what fluency means for them. Visualization forces you to create a clear picture. Do you want to fluently hold conversations with friends? Do you want to give presentations at work? Do you want to travel the world and connect with people easily? Once you know what your future self looks like, you can shape your daily practice to reach that specific goal. Visualization also reduces fear. Often, the reason people hesitate to speak English is because they imagine negative outcomes. They imagine being laughed at, judged, or ignored. But if you replace those negative pictures with positive ones, imagining yourself being respected, admired, understood, you change the story in your head. Your brain no longer sees speaking English as a danger, it sees it as an opportunity. This mental shift makes you more willing to practice, to take risks, to open your mouth even when you are unsure. Another benefit is motivation. There will be days in your 30-day journey when you feel tired, when progress feels slow, when mistakes make you doubt yourself. On those days, visualization acts like a light in the dark. When you see your future self clearly in your mind, you remind yourself why you started. You remind yourself of the freedom and opportunities that fluency will bring. That picture pulls you forward when discipline alone feels heavy. To make visualization more powerful, combine it with action. For example, if you imagine yourself giving a speech in English, practice speaking aloud as if you are delivering that speech. If you imagine yourself chatting with a foreign friend, practice simple dialogues out loud. This way, your vision and your practice reinforce each other. The mind prepares you, and the voice executes it. Every time you practice with your vision in mind, you are not just training your skills, you are stepping closer to becoming that version of yourself. Another way to strengthen visualization is by writing down your goals. Describe your future self in detail. Write, I am a confident English speaker. I can express my ideas clearly. I enjoy speaking with others. People listen to me with respect. Reading these affirmations daily programs your mind to believe in your transformation. Once belief is strong, practice becomes natural. You no longer feel like you are forcing yourself. You feel like you are simply walking towards the person you already are. Visualization also works best when you engage your emotions. Don't just see the picture, feel it. Feel the pride of introducing yourself in fluent English. Feel the excitement of traveling abroad without fear. Feel the joy of making new friends through English conversations. When you connect emotionally, the vision becomes powerful. It's no longer just an idea, it becomes a reality your heart is already experiencing. That emotional reality pushes you to keep practicing until your outer reality matches it. So every single day during these 30 days, take a few quiet moments to visualize your fluent self. Imagine it with detail, with emotion, with belief. See yourself standing tall, speaking clearly, expressing freely. Carry that vision with you throughout the day as you practice. When you face difficulties, close your eyes and return to that picture. Remind yourself that this version of you is real, waiting on the other side of your effort. Because the truth is, if you can see it in your mind, you can create it in your life. The vision of your future self is not a fantasy, it is a blueprint. And if you follow it with courage, daily practice, speaking aloud, immersion, and reading aloud, then very soon that future self will no longer be just in your imagination. It will be standing in front of the mirror, smiling back at you, speaking English fluently with confidence. My friends, the journey to speaking English fluently in 30 days is not about magic. It is about mindset, courage, and consistency. You have seen the path, choosing courage over perfection, practicing every single day without excuse, speaking aloud everywhere, immersing yourself in English until it surrounds you, reading aloud to train your voice and memory, and finally, visualizing the confident version of yourself who already speaks fluently. Each step is a piece of the puzzle, and when you put them together with full dedication, transformation becomes inevitable. The truth is, English is not just a language, it is a bridge that connects you to opportunities, to people, to dreams you may have once thought were out of reach. But that bridge will never be built unless you take the first step and keep walking for 30 days with focus and determination. Don't wait for the perfect time, don't wait for permission, and don't wait for perfection. Start now. Use your voice, train your mind, believe in your vision. 1 month from today, you can look back and see two possibilities. Either you let another 30 days slip by with excuses, or you took the challenge and proved to yourself that fluency is within your reach. The choice is yours. So stand tall, believe in yourself, and begin. Every word you speak, every sentence you read, every moment you practice brings you closer to the confident, fluent version of yourself. And when you reach that point, you will realize that it was never about learning a language. It was about unlocking the power, courage, and potential that has always been inside you. Now is your moment. Take it. Your journey to fluency begins today.